Mao nisi nao whaupopongo tala le nei fiafi whaftaitele lawa ilo whaatasimai Amerika Samoa manuia lau whaasausaunga tau whaasaifua. The Department of Public Safety will have its inspection day on Friday, February 28th. "30-day suspension imposed on Swains Island representative. A public hearing regarding Bills 39-4 and 39-5 was held at the Senate early today. Talo Falava, American Samoa, and welcome to your evening news here on KVZK TV. The Department of Public Safety will close some of its divisions this coming Friday, February 28th, for its inspection day. This initiative is to help continue to provide high-quality service to the people of American Samoa.
Well, first of all, it is our privilege to have this opportunity to inform the public, and especially our government official, as far as the intention of the Department of Public Safety. I know the Honorable Governor, the Honorable Fono, Honorable President and Speaker of the House, and especially the Fono, they have been eager for us to reopen the substation at Leone and Whangaitua. Now we're in preparation to make it happen on the 1st of this next month. But as far as it goes, Friday we're hoping to have we're going to have a general inspection for the Honorable Governor to inspect the police force of American Samoa. So we'll have that occasion happens on Friday at 9 o'clock in the morning here at the Whanatono Malai. So our hope is to reintroduce our commitment to our community to protect and to serve the people of American Samoa. So all we're asking our communities and our people to bear with us while we're trying to reinforce our commitment to our communities in order to provide better service for the people of American Samoa. And I hope that with the reopening of the substation Leone and Whangaitua, we'll be able to limit the time of response when events happen within our community. So the assistance should be right there as soon as possible, as soon as we open up the substation. But for Friday, it's the official general inspection for the Honorable Governor to inspect the police force of American Samoa.
The Swains representative, Sua Alexander Jennings, has been officially informed of the House's actions against him, which led to his suspension. However, in order to return to chambers, he must apologize for his actions during sessions.
Decision by the House members is outlined in a letter dated the 20th of February, endorsed by Speaker Savali Talavoale. According to the letter, members of the House of Representatives convened in a full committee to discuss and address sanctions against the representative of Swains for violation of House rules that occurred on Wednesday, the 12th of February, specifically Rule 2, Section 2, which deals with debate, order, decorum, and punishment. Following a thorough deliberation, the members voted unanimously to impose a 30-day suspension on the delegate from Swains Island effective from the date of the violation and with pay. This suspension may be lifted earlier should the delegate choose to appear before the House to provide a formal apology and commit to uphold standards and conduct in moving forward. However, in a press statement, Sua indicated that he would not apologize. The lawmaker referenced the 2022 constitutional referendum and the 2024 elections as pivotal events that established a clear mandate for the reversal of previous actions, thereby restoring the populace their faith, wealth, democracy, and freedom. He emphasized that the government did not enact the recent constitutional amendments. They were a direct result of the people's will. The passage of the Swains Island Amendments signified a mandate from the citizens to thoroughly reverse a considerable betrayal of democracy that has persisted for the past 65 years, which has marginalized Swains Island and rendered its residents powerless to prevent the forced alienation of their ancestral lands. According to the press statement, on the 16th of January this year, the Secretary of the Interior approved the Swains Island Amendment and 4 other amendments to the Constitution. This approval represented the first modifications to the American Samoa Constitution in nearly half a century. However, certain factions within the government have refused to implement these amendments despite their endorsements by the Department of Interior. According to the press statement, on the 12th of February this year, Sua articulated his concerns regarding disregarding the local constitution. As a consequence, he was removed from the House chamber and suspended for 30 days. Although he was offered the opportunity to return early if he consented to issue an apology. Considering this situation, the lawmaker quoted a biblical verse that advises, and I quote, "Do not break your oath, but fulfill to the Lord the vows you have made," unquote. With this context in mind, he now confronts the issue of whether he should apologize and return to the fono before the conclusion of his suspension. Deliberations with his community consistently indicate that he will not apologize for upholding democracy, his commitment to the constitutions of the United States and American Samoa, the legislative rules of the House of American Samoa, and the rights of the citizens of American Samoa and Swains Island. He plans to resume his duties as a voting member of the legislature upon completion of his suspension. Joya Tafiangay Mali with your news on KVZK.
The Senate conducted a public hearing on 2 measures to vote for the governor and lieutenant governor separately, as well as a proposal to amend the requirements for government leaders this morning. Here's more with Joyetza Fiangay Mali.
Senator Tongyola Tulafono highlighted that the main concern surrounding the proposal for separate elections for the governor and lieutenant governor is a multifaceted issue that requires careful consideration. He acknowledged the widespread apprehension among the public, who fear that electing the 2 positions independently could foster a sense of rivalry or discord between the leaders. This potential for division might undermine their collaborative efforts and impact the overall effectiveness of governance. Tongyola asserts that recruiting candidates for public office, whether men or women, is a challenging endeavor primarily due to the inconsistencies in the levels of authority associated with various positions. For instance, when a lieutenant governor is in office and intends to run for the governor's position, the electorate has a distinct advantage. They are already familiar with his track record, including the initiatives and projects he has managed during his tenure. This familiarity allows the public to evaluate their qualifications and suitability for the governorship based on his or her past performance. Furthermore, Tongyola notes that the lieutenant governor's role becomes somewhat constrained by the team he is associated with during his campaign. Voters may consider his qualifications and how effectively he collaborates with his campaign team, which can ultimately influence their decision-making process. This dynamic reinforces the complexities of political candidacies, making it imperative for potential candidates to demonstrate individual competence and effective teamwork. One of the witnesses at the public hearing was Jim McGuire. He argues the government leaders should be elected as a cohesive team rather than as individual candidates. He believes that by choosing leaders together, the electorate can assure that those in power have a shared vision and can collaborate effectively to address the challenges facing the community. This approach fosters accountability and encourages a unified strategy in governance, enhancing the overall effectiveness of leadership.
The big problem on this one, from my point of view, is the separation of power. The historical position of since we've elected governors in 1977 up until now, there has been differences between governors and lieutenant governors, but they are a team, and this isn't Hawaii, and the two people that are in those two positions really need to work together, because when the governor is off island, the lieutenant governor should be following in his footsteps and not take a different direction. So I'm actually opposed in my position as a U.S. citizen and American Samoan against separating the two.
This is what Mr. McGuire had to say about the amendments to the requirements for governor and lieutenant governor candidates.
I understand the situation with our most recently elected governor, but I think, in my personal opinion, 5 years is too long a term to wait for a qualified American Samoan to be governor. I think that the capability of a Samoan to be governor does not need to last that long. And in my position as I'm a member of the Aulava clan. I'm a Whaiava, and our current matai hasn't been yet confirmed, but I have been in this culture for a number of years, and my position is both personal and based on my experience living in Hawaii when I was out of high school. Hawaii is a much bigger place than here. Electing a governor and a lieutenant governor there is a totally different situation than here. American Samoa is even smaller than Martha's Vineyard, which is an island off the coast of Massachusetts, which I have visited, and this is a very unique culture, and we all support it. And I understand you, Senator Tongiola, you were governor for 12 years, and you are in a position of really stating an opinion, but for those of us that are just get to voice our opinion at election time every 4 years, this has been a great opportunity for the President of the Senate and you esteemed senators to put these hearings on television, and I really appreciate it, and I hope the keyboard warriors out there that are listening to this, if you want to take a position, come before the board and state your facts. And then closing, the real problem that I see with the, I mentioned in the last hearing you had, is immigration. You've got to, you can't put a Band-Aid on a sore. I mean, the problem is really the population here is shrinking. Most American Samoans leave when they're 18 and go to the States. A lot of them don't come back, and the void is filled by people coming in with experience from other cultures, Vietnam now, Philippines, and immigration is a problem that I feel should be addressed before you esteemed senators consider separating the powers of the governor and the lieutenant governor. Again, from personal experience, my son-in-law was the lieutenant governor for the past 4 years. I'm very close to my daughter and my son-in-law. There were differences between the governor and the lieutenant governor from my perspective, but the lieutenant governor has to respect the governor's position on everything because he's the head elected person. And
Joya Tafiangay Mali'i with your news on KVZK.
The American Samoa Bar Association's Executive Committee has announced the ASPA Legal Education Scholarship recipients and the Michael Vo Law School Application Scholarship, noting the impressive qualifications and enthusiasm of this year's applicants.
The American Samoa Bar Association has awarded the 2025 Legal Education Scholarship to Taylor Jessup and the 2025 Michael Law School Application Scholarship to Tassi Pereira. This was confirmed in a statement released by the local Bar Association. Taylor is a top-ranked 2L student at the University of California Davis School of Law to apply toward her law school fees and expenses. Jessup plans to join the 2025 Summer Associates class of Cades Chute LLP in Hawaii this summer after spending last summer as a summer associate in the in-house legal department of Hawaii. Jessup's areas of interest include intellectual property litigation, trust and estates, land use planning, and real estate. Pereira, a political science major and rhetoric and reason minor in Southern Oregon University, applied towards the LSAT and law school application expenses. This scholarship was made possible through the generous donation of a former clerk of the High Court of American Samoa. Ms. Pereira is an inspiring law student with a particular interest in environmental law, civil rights law, and immigration. Ms. Pereira hopes to practice law in the territory one day. The American Samoa Bar Association Executive Board congratulates Jessup and Pereira on their scholarship awards and wishes them well in their future endeavors. Joyeta Whengai Mali'i with your news on KVZK.
Coming up next is your weather and tide report. And that concludes tonight's edition of your evening news here on KVZK TV. Thanks for joining us. Tofasefua.